Hello guys and dolls, and welcome back. It's me, Cora. I am super excited about today's video just to finally talk about makeup and everything and just get back in the game. So the first thing I want to talk about are some skincare items. The first one is Bioderma Sensibio H2O. If you've never seen this before, this is a cleansing water. It works as a makeup remover to take all of your makeup off, and it's amazing. You don't have to rinse your face afterward, although I always do. But it's so sensitive. It's great for people with very sensitive skin. I actually use this in my kit, and I have this little one here on my makeup desk, but I'm really excited about this because Beautylish is selling this now. This has been kind of hard to get. You really couldn't get it in the US. I always had to buy it through Amazon, so it's cool that Beautylish has it because I live in the Bay Area, so it's like a hop, skip, and a day and I have my stuff. So really awesome. Love this stuff. I will actually insert a clip of how easily this removes makeup because I almost couldn't believe it, how easy it was. This is also really great if you're like in the middle of doing your makeup and like you mess up your eyeliner or something and you need to remove it, but you don't want to have to, like, you know, deal with the whole process of removing it and then removing the remover. This you can apply makeup right on top of, and you, as I said, you don't have to rinse it off if you don't want to. This is also something that's great to keep in your kit if you're a makeup artist to use on other people. It's a nice sensitive makeup remover and it's great stuff. It doesn't sting my eyes, which is always a plus. The next skincare item that I want to talk about is something that I haven't actually had for a very long time. I think I talked about this in my previous video last week with Michael, my haul. It's the Boscia Exfoliating Gel Peel. So this is a really interesting product. Basically, it comes out, it's like a clearish kind of liquid. It comes out and you rub it on your face, and as you're rubbing it on your face, it like balls up and like attaches to the dead skin and then gently exfoliates without like an abrasive like crushed walnut or even like a microbead or anything. So it's just like a gentle exfoliation of this stuff as it's balling up. Leaves your skin feeling so incredibly soft and smooth. I couldn't believe it. But I'm still really skeptical of pretty much everything. So I had this theory that like maybe it just balls up and it's not actually attaching to your skin, and maybe it left like a film on your skin and that's why it felt so soft. So I took a pair of latex gloves and I put some in my hand with the gloves on and rubbed them together to see if it would ball up, and it didn't, which means that this is actually doing what it says it does, which is pretty cool because it's such a unique kind of product. So this is pretty awesome. I haven't had it for a terribly long period of time. I've only been using it now for a couple weeks, but holy crap, it works, and my skin's been very nice, very smooth, and I've noticed that my skin hasn't been as dry, and I feel like it like sucks in the moisturizer a little bit better, probably because the dead skin cells aren't there, but I'm also not hurting my skin by physically exfoliating it with something grainy. So I love that, love that, love that. And when my little sample bottle of this runs out, I am totally buying the full size. Moving on to makeup. The first thing that I want to talk about is, of course, the Makeup Forever eyeshadows. You guys know I am obsessed. I think that they are so fantastic. I made the whole video talking about them, and then I ended up doing the meetup, which was so crazy, and like all of a sudden, it was actually that night that I realized that I was sick though, and that I felt so horrible. I was like, oh my god, I've just like hugged all these people and like talked in their face, and like I even put makeup on some people. I'm like, so if you got sick after my meetup, I'm so sorry. I had no idea, and it was one of those things that like came on like all of a sudden. I love the Makeup Forever eyeshadows. I bought some more, which I will be hauling for you guys probably next week. While I was there, they actually gave me some goodies, which was so unexpected. And by the way, that meetup was just like completely random. Some people were like wondering if my Makeup Forever eyeshadow video was like sponsored because I ended up doing the meetup at the store. Totally organic. It just happened. They just saw my video and invited me to come. Thank you guys, that was awesome. Anyway, they ended up giving me like a little goodie bag, and they had goodie bags also for my subscribers who showed up and bought stuff. So that was so sweet. I love you guys. Makeup Forever store in San Jose, you rock. Anyway, one of the things that was in my goodie bag was this here. This is the Makeup Forever, they have like a new line of primers. This is step 1. This is the blue primer. This stuff is freaking awesome. I haven't used it extensively, so I can't say for sure like this is amazing, because I've really only tried it like twice because I've been sick, and I've only worn makeup twice since I've been sick, which was last Thursday and today. What it does is when you have very pale skin, it gives you that like Nicole Kidman level of like super fairness. What I found is that this actually helps to minimize redness in a more subtle way than a green primer will do. Sometimes I find that when you use a green primer, it can make the skin look gray if overall you're not red, if you're only red in a couple areas. What I like too is that the color of this, let me go ahead and do a little bloop for you. It's a very subtle blue. It almost looks like a white. And another thing I like versus like their old primers and stuff, I can talk about this more extensively another time, but what I like about this versus their old primers is also the texture. It's very smooth and silky. And you can see as I'm rubbing this on, it's not necessarily looking very blue, it's just making my skin look very pale. So this is a really great primer to use if you're a very pale girl. It definitely enhances your skin tone instead of kind of masking it with like a deeper color, like a lot of other colored primers do, like, you know, whatever. So moving on to some more foundation stuff, the NARS Luminous Weightless Foundation. I freaking love this stuff. It's awesome. One thing a lot of you guys have mentioned is that you're getting samples of it and you feel like it's too dark. I noticed a lot of that in the comment section of the video that I made. And the thing about this foundation is you have to mix it up like a lot, because it's so liquidy and it does tend to separate just a little bit, almost like an airbrush foundation. You have to really, really mix those as well. You have to mix it up a lot. So I think that when you get like a sample, it like unmixes and there's no way to really mix it in the same way that it would be mixed in the bottle. So this is one that I think you actually have to purchase, try it out, and if you don't like it, Sephora has a really awesome return policy. The other thing too is that a lot of people are asking me, is this good for dry skin, or they're saying that it wasn't great for their dry skin. When you have dry skin and you're going to use a foundation that has a matte or semi-matte finish, you have to really hydrate your skin before you put that on. When I say that it's good for dry skin, it's if you prep the skin properly, it works well with dry skin. Whereas there are some matte foundations that even if you do prep the skin properly, it doesn't look good. Whereas I feel like with this one, if you do prep the skin and make it sure it's nice and hydrated, put a good primer on before, this looks really great. So yeah, that was kind of, I wanted to clarify that because some people thought that it was a foundation for dry skin. I think it's meant to be for all skin types. I know for sure a lot of oily skin girls are really loving that foundation. I have combination skin. It's very dry in here and in here. Actually, currently it's dry everywhere because I've been sick, and that foundation still looks pretty good. So Maracuja Miracle foundation brush from Tarte. I'm obsessed. This is amazing. This is available in that little set. I don't know if it's available on its own now. It's fantastic. I also am going to be trying out the foundation of this next, but I've not been able to wear makeup, so I haven't had time to test it out. But this brush is really fantastic. This works so great for foundation, for blush, for everything. It's like a great little airbrush blush brush. So my next favorite is a powder that you guys I'm sure already know that I love, and that is the Crystal Translucent Powder from NARS. This stuff is freaking awesome. Completely textureless, completely just amazing. It makes your skin look so good. I didn't use it today because I'm sick and I'm only using products that I can dispense out to myself, like loose powder or like liquid foundation or something, you know, like things that I don't have to dip into, or like my mascara, I use like a disposable one to apply it today. So I'm very sad that I can't use this. I just coughed on it and that just totally defeated the purpose of not using it. I have to sanitize everything I touch after I make this video anyway. This powder is just so fantastic. It's one of those things that once you try it, you'll get it. And it is expensive, but it's really worth it. Whereas some things are expensive and they're kind of like, okay. It's definitely one that goes in like the permanent collection of like awesomeness. Like if there was like a display that I had of like all the perfect makeup, it would be in there. Oh my god, that's a good idea. I should totally do that. I'm doing my whole like makeup setup and I'm like, I just got a good idea. My next favorite is probably gonna come as no surprise. You guys know I did a review and a tutorial using the Narcissus palette. This palette is just so fantastic. I think this is still available. It's definitely worth it. You get to try so many of these great eyeshadows in one fell swoop instead of buying them individually, which can be kind of costly. Dude, just buy the palette if you can, if it's still available. This is such a great investment. And I've had this now for a couple, yeah, well, I bought it like right when it came out. So I guess, yeah, I've had it for like 2 months now, and you could definitely see I've used it, but they're not getting used up, and I use these pretty much every time I want to use a shimmery eyeshadow lately. So, of course, when I'm not using my Makeup Forever eyeshadow. So it's been a very good month for eyeshadow for me. Moving on to one last eyeshadow palette that I really liked, which was the Tartelette palette. This one is more in like your neutral category. Obviously, I made a review video for this. It's a bunch of neutrals that just go together effortlessly, seamlessly. The quality is fantastic. They're all matte. It's like a best friend eyeshadow palette. This is one that's good to pair with all your other fun stuff. For instance, all of these are shimmery. These two together have been perfect for me to just use together. Shimmer and matte, all in, you know, it's perfect. And the great thing about a palette like this is it's good for beginners who don't have a lot of eyeshadow, because you're going to start out with kind of your basics that you're going to need to pull in with all your fun colors. I personally, when I started my eyeshadow collection, I would go out and just buy stuff like this all the time. And it was fun and it was great, but you need neutrals to make a look complete. Just a little bit, you know, in the crease or as a highlight or whatever, you know, you need these. The other thing too is that this is a neutral palette where all the colors go together. You know, obviously they're all lined out, like this is the warm and this is the purples and this is the cooler colors. But in a palette like this, you can still mix and match from each row and they go together harmoniously. Unlike some palettes, like the Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette, that one I felt like it was just like a bunch of random neutrals that don't actually go together, and you can't do that. So now a couple more favorites, some drugstore stuff. I know that a lot of this is high-end. I've been into high-end makeup lately and I don't apologize for it. I know in the past I always felt really bad about using things that were expensive, but it's my money and I'm spending it how I want to. And yeah, there's that. My favorite nail polish, this is OPI. I sew Polo over there, I think is what this is called. This is from the Brazil collection from last year. I'm wearing it on my nails now. It's just the perfect grayish. It's that purple, taupey, beige, grayish, whatever this color is called. It's so good. It's a lovely formula. It goes on perfectly. I'm telling you, this has been my favorite nail polish since it came out last year. I actually need to buy a backup bottle because I use it so much. I'm sure I'm going to run out at some point. It's just perfect and I love it. It's my favorite. One lip formula that I really loved last month was the new Milani, the matte lipsticks that they came out with. These are fantastic. I love them. I'm wearing matte Orchid today. It's my favorite hot pink. I really don't know what else to say. They're matte. They are affordable. The colors are super fantastic, punchy, vibrant. I mean, you really can't go wrong with Milani lipstick. They're the best. I also really love the Milani blushes. I love the texture of them. I like how they're embossed. They're just beautiful, beautiful blushes, and I absolutely am in love with them. And I think they're lovely. And I would buy them even if they were much more expensive, but I'm so happy that they are inexpensive. That is it in terms of product. And at the end, I always like to talk to you guys about some things that are not makeup related. A show that I have been absolutely obsessed with lately is Looking. If you're not watching this, please start watching Looking now to save the show. It's about a bunch of gay people in San Francisco. So of course I love it because they actually shoot in San Francisco, so it's kind of cool to see my area represented. They'll be like, oh, we're in Oakland, and I'm like, oh my god, they're my town. But beyond that novelty, it's actually quite a good show. I think that the first season was a little lost. The second season has been wonderful. If you don't watch the show at all, start with the episode Looking for a Plot. It's almost like a mini movie in and of itself. I've watched it 3 times. It's such a good episode. And then decide if you like the show and, you know, pick up watching from first season, of course. It's so good, and I really hope that it doesn't get canceled because it's just such a good show. Girls this season, I also watched Girls, and I feel like this season I haven't been about girls. The last couple episodes have been better, but ooh, the first like 6 episodes, I was like, I'm about to give up on this show. And then my final favorite for the month is Elle King. If you have not heard her yet, she has a song called X's and O's, which I think we heard on the radio, and my husband was like, oh my god, I love this song. My husband is like the music curator of our house for sure. He's definitely the one who like finds the cool bands and plays all the cool music that I end up liking and taking credit for liking. But Elle King is so freaking awesome. You have to check out her album. I love like soulful, sexy singers who have like a raspy, whiskey voice, like basically that sound like me when I'm sick. I will have a link to her album on Amazon. I'm one of those people, I still buy CDs, but I love buying them on Amazon because then you can also get the auto rip on your phone right away. So anyway, that is my favorites. So I'm so excited just to be back in the game and like touching makeup again, and I'm not like so contagious that I can't touch anything. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Remember to make good choices and just be yourself. See you, bye, 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 bye.